Kahalau Yahawashi Yahawashi Bahashem Rakakadash. All praise, honor, and glory go to the Most High Yahawah. In the name of His Son Yahawashi. And I'm back to another one. I'm about to head on, drive on down to the plantation. May get a little loud. My engine is a little loud. So I'm gonna try to speak up with the windows up, praying that, the message gets delivered, and praying that, those who are the hopeful elect hear these things and are encouraged and edified, exhorted, sometimes even rebuked, because rebuking can be a beautiful thing for those that understand what that rebuking is supposed to bring. Because it's supposed to bring you to a point where you fear the Lord and you realize that you may need to make some changes, which we all got to do at different times in this walk. In James 2, this scripture right here, I always think about when other camps or other Israelites that may be in the truth, not be in the truth, they call the man of the Lord, the man of great millstones, bums, or they try to treat them like they're the lowest of the low. Which, if you're a man of the Lord, you would appreciate, because that's how they treated Yahawashi. But it says in verse 1, I'm gonna read this in the Amplified. My fellow believers, do not practice your faith in our glorious Master Yahawashi Mashiach with an attitude of partiality. Forward people show no favoritism, no prejudice, no snubbery. So we want to make sure that we're not looking at people in a light just because what they have on, what they appear to be. It's a great saying in the that I hear the brothers be great millstones say a lot, especially the apostles. Apostle Gabar says it a lot. Every man's not gonna look like John Shaft. So you're not gonna have that big muscle bound guy that no, it's not gonna be that way for every Israelite. It says, and since we're scattered, it's not a black and white thing, so other Israelites may look like other nations. It says, for if a man comes into your meeting place wearing a gold ring and fine clothes, and a poor man in dirty clothes also comes in, and you pay special attention to the one who wears the fine clothes and say to him, you sit here, this good seat, and you tell the poor man, you stand over there and sit down on the floor by my footstool, have you not discriminated among yourself and become judges with wrong motives? And that's the main topic I wanted to get to, was just the wrong motives that we have in this truth sometimes. Because one, a lot of us have come from the Christian church, and the Christian church promotes things just like this because they look for those that are able to give tithings and offerings in a higher amount. So since that's what they're looking at, for the most part, they'll tend to judge people coming in, And then also, you got to think about it in the places that you work. Now, you got to be wise. Where I work is a family fun entertainment place. But, sometimes we get some homeless people to walk in. And, I try to be as cordial as I can with them, even though some of them may, seem like they're out of their mind, And if they want to use the bathroom, I might let them use the bathroom. But if there's a lot of kids in there, I just use my wise judgment and don't do it because I don't want to run into any problems. So you got to be wise, but you got to be very, spiritual with your motives on why you make decisions on people. Because you never know who could be your messenger. Our women are the main ones that really struggle with this. And I say that because they think the man that's supposed to lead them is supposed to fit their, sexual aspect they want in a man, financial aspect that they want in a man, and, maybe even the looks, the handsomeness, or the body, or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, women are slaves, they're servants. They're meant to be servants of the man. So really, it's the man should be picking the woman. But in this society, the way it's determined, the woman pretty much picks the man. Keep going on to the scripture, it says, listen, my beloved brothers and sisters, has not Yahawah chosen the poor of this world to be rich in faith, and as believers to be heirs of the kingdom, which he promised to those who love him. He says, but you, in contrast, have dishonored the poor man. It is not the rich who oppress and exploit you and personally drag you into the courts of law. Do they not blaspheme the precious name of Yahawashi Mashiach by which you are called? And, you know, we get to the maturity level in this truth where, you know, we start to understand that it's not about always wearing fringes. We start to understand that, you know, every brother that comes in is not going to be fresh to death, you know, as far as just the believers. We understand they're going to get some that may have some, what the world call mental problems, man. You know, like I was having this conversation with someone at my job about autism. How autism pretty much is just people who have, you know, pet peeves on different things that take them to a level, depending on who they're raised by, depending on who entertains their pet peeves, you know, at a level where they can't be around it or they can't see it. Yet, you know, at the end of the day, if that's the case, we all got pet peeves, so we're all a little autism. It's just depending on how you were raised and how, you know, the people around you treat you because of that. Because the world says once you have a physical or mental ailment, you know, then you're cut off. You know, you gotta be treated different. You gotta be looked at different. You know, you gotta maybe take meds. You gotta do something to where, you know, you're different from everybody else, which pretty much is just a way to, as a cop-out, to allow these people to not function the way society works, you know. And in some ways that could be a good thing, especially if you're an Israelite, because, you know, you don't really want to function the way this society works anyway. But at the same time, you know, that's going to get you to stand out in front of people. And then the more you stand out, the harder it makes you to function in today's world. Now, the great thing about being an Israelite, and it's talking about the poor there, so whenever it talks about the poor in the scriptures, you got to really remember an Israelite, because we're the lowest of the low. You know, you so-called African American, Native American, Latinos, you know, they look at us like we're nothing, you know, especially the tribe of Judah, especially the so-called black man. And that's just the truth of it all. Because the other tribes, sometimes they can blend in and everything, but the so-called black man can't blend in. He's black, and unless he is rolling around in a Range Rover or has a Rolex on his arm, or at least trying to floss in a way where he shows that he has some kind of money or some kind of status, then, you know, we're likely to get treated as the bottom of the barrel. You know, if you have any physical defects, that's going to increase how much they treat you at the bottom of the barrel. You know, if you have on dingy clothes and clothes that are not clean, that's going to decrease your popularity amongst the people. So all these things are playing factors towards how people treat you. Yet, as the scripture is saying, you know, why would we want to treat people like we treat people in the world? Now, I'm gonna keep it real. Like I said, I have to work a job where, you know, we get homeless people come in, so I got to make decisions and be wise with my decisions, and try to, you know, protect the, I guess the environment of the people that are in there. But at the same time, you know, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be a person that always, how can I say it, implements, you know, discrimination in a sense of status. Now, we know through the scriptures, the Lord is very discriminative. He only has chosen Israel as his people. He hates the so-called white man to the core where he's going to be destroyed, meaning the nation of Edom. I'm not talking about all white people, so I want to make sure I say that, because the Israelites will look like so-called, you know, Edomites, the white America. But at the end of the day, you know, the Lord discriminates very much so. And he has a special place and a special deliverance for a third of his people of the nation of Yasharallah, that the whole world is going to see, and they're going to see that the Lord was being discriminative towards them if they don't make it. So it's a very thin line on how we're supposed to treat people when it comes to this scripture here, reminding us how we don't want to bring people in the faith based upon their status. You know, you're not trying to go out there and find big fish believers. You know, like they did in the Christian church. I remember when I was going to a Christian church, they used to try to have us go out there and share our faith, go out there and meet people, and they would say, just like that, go out there and try to find some big fish. You know, what do you mean? People who are influential in the community, who have a little bit, look like they have a little bit of status, money. And, you know, if I was open to scriptures like this, and even though, you know, it was, you know, a fake church anyway, Christian church is not the place to be, you know, and I was paying attention to scriptures like this, I would realize that that's just all comes from the left-hand side and the thoughts of a devil who controls the Christian church, who controls pretty much all churches that's not under the wing of the One West Awakening, and to continue to teach in sincerity and heart, you know, the truth that was revealed to us by that's continued to be revealed by the men of Great Millstone, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. So ultimately, the message of this particular video is just, you know, watch out for your motives and your actions and why you do things. Be wise in things you do, but just know that everyone that you pertain to be spiritual, to be a perfect fit for this truth, or to be you know, wise, is not always that. And you got to stay focused in on, you know, there is a wisdom of the world. You know, I had a story. I had a boss. I had a friend who actually came into the truth as well. And I called our boss, who was a Edomite wise, one time, and he couldn't stand me saying that. But in the end of the day, he was wise. Why? Because he has the wisdom of the world. He's continuing to use that wisdom of the world to manipulate people, manipulate situations to keep his business going, and he doesn't have any care about who he fucks over. So that's using wisdom of the world. You know, now it's not wisdom that's partaked in the scriptures that what you should have, and he will never have that because he's a heathen. But at the end of the day, you know, we got to use the wisdom of Yahawah Shem Yahawashi and really check our motives when we're dealing with people and that are waking up to this truth. So ultimately, I hope it's edifying to someone out there. With that, just want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem, with Kachadash, double honors to all the apostles, elders, teachers, preachers, priests, bishops that came before me, taught me the truth in the videos, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the true prophets of Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi, and they were taught by their apostles and elders before them. And Shalawam, peace be to you, to the holy elect, which I pray in the number of, to next time, Yahawah.